right, good morning, everyone. It is June 16th, 2026, and the time is 4:30 a.m. And there is quite a bit to talk about right now. There's nothing going on across the country, really. We do have a general thunderstorm risk with a couple of marginal risks here into Texas, Colorado, and Kansas. But the big story is going to be this day two moderate risk, which was just issued from the Storm Prediction Center, where they did expand the enhanced risk and then go moderate across Illinois and into Indiana. I'm highly anticipating this moderate risk to expand furthermore, and then possibly even a high risk be issued by either this afternoon or into the overnight hours tonight. These tornado probabilities are almost off the charts. I also think that the Storm Prediction Center is kind of underdoing it with these probabilities here. I think we could see a 30% risk here, a high risk issued here at some point, but they do have a Sig 2 hatching here across the entire 15% region. So if you live in places like Decatur, Bloomington, Springfield, or Champaign, Taylorville, you need to have multiple ways to get watches and warnings tomorrow. Your hail probabilities, there is a 30% risk here across portions of northwestern Illinois. If you live into Quincy, Macomb area, Peoria, you have a better chance of tornadoes. I think the Storm Prediction Center is thinking the initial supercells will fire off in this region, and kind of grow upscale as they move off to the east. And then our damaging wind probabilities, we do have a 30% hatched region here, a Sig 1. I also could see this getting upgraded to a 45% here into Indiana and Ohio after this storm system grows upscale. And this is the HRRR model run here, and this is what we're looking at as far as the significant tornado parameter. And this is the latest run. So we're gonna have to go back to the 06Z model run here, I believe. Okay. And notice it does show a little bit today. That's primarily due to a very low end tornado potential. This afternoon into this evening, if there is a tornado today, I could see that threat being maximized here into the far southwestern portions of Michigan and into northern Indiana. I don't think it's a great concern, but definitely something to monitor. But as we move into the day on Wednesday, this is Wednesday afternoon. This is about lunchtime. I mean, we can kind of see that warm front here. This is that warm front here. The other side of it, there's no STP values, but on this side of it, values continue to grow. And notice that these values blossom along this warm front here. As it moves off to the north, notice we have extremely high values here. I mean, literally off the charts in some of these places, well over 10. And as we continue to move off to the north here, yeah, it's not even registering what we have up here. So, but yeah, as we continue to move forward here, this environment is, I don't want to say it, but I think we're going to have strong violent tornadoes tomorrow. I'm just going to be honest with you right now. I think a high risk is necessary in this environment here. I mean, if you live in anywhere in central Illinois, I think this is going to be a big day. I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but I mean, the values are so high. It's literally, yeah, by 23Z, the values are so high, it's literally off the charts. It's not even registering what's going on here. And as we continue to move forward, this kind of shifts off to the east southeast here. I do want to look at the updraft helicity here, and I mean, I just have a hard time believing this is not going to, be a major tornado outbreak. just slightly south of I-74 and then into the I-72 region. I think between those two interstates is where the focal point for possibly large destructive tornadoes is favorable. The greatest chance is probably going to be in that region right there. Lincoln, Bloomington, Clinton, Decatur, Peoria. If you live in the Paxton area, even that far north, I think there's chances up there. Taylorville down here, Springfield, Jacksonville. Uh, if you live as far south as Effingham, you need to have ways to get watches and warnings. I do want to go over and look at the RRFS model, as this is showing. I know this was kind of circulating around Twitter. The last model run was. So what it's showing is we have this initial round of storms in the morning on Wednesday, but it kind of stays and rides along that I-74, um, and kind of just shifts off to the southeast. But this is showing some tornado potential in this line here, and I think that is relevant with what we're seeing on the other models. I think there is going to be potential for tornadoes here, in and around the Bloomington area, late morning into early afternoon hours. And what this will likely do is, um, set off an outflow boundary somewhere in this vicinity here, kind of sagging to the south, and that could become the focal point for these violent storms. And my goodness, I mean, this is an incredible look from this model here. I know this is this is just the RRFS model, but there's just an explosion of supercells between 21Z and 23Z across western Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, Indiana. I mean, this is just going to be a major severe weather event. I have a hard time that believing there's not going to be a lot of tornadoes tomorrow. I want to see what the the significant tornado parameters are looking like on this model here, and kind of compare them to the latest HRRR model run here. I mean, notice as we get into 18Z, this is about noon once again, and this is pretty much parallel with what the HRRR is showing as far as the values kind of riding along that warm front. And it does show the positioning of that warm front to be very similar to what the HRRR is showing. Maybe just a little bit further off to the south here, across kind of like McLean County into Tazewell County is where it looks like it's going to set up. And then it kind of pushes off to the east-southeast as that cold front advances off to the east. And I believe storms will fire in front of the cold front. I believe storms will fire along the cold front. And I believe storms are going to fire along the warm front. I'm expecting a full-scale severe weather outbreak, and some of these updraft helicity tracks are just insane. I mean, if we can scrape through tomorrow without one strong, possibly violent tornado, we're going to be lucky. Someone's going to have a really bad day tomorrow. You need to have multiple ways to get these watches and warnings, because this could be a very significant day. But once again, the Storm Prediction Center did introduce a moderate risk. Not surprising at all. I'm expecting them to expand the moderate risk significantly to include almost all of Illinois and Indiana and into central portions of Missouri, and they will likely introduce a level 5 out of 5, if not later today, probably tonight or tomorrow morning. But other than that, that's all I got. Stay tuned for more videos. There's a lot of stuff coming here as we're entering an active period.